Hey, let me ask you something. Are you looking for some freedom? Would that sound really good? I know it would to me, so let's go. That's right, in the follow through, all week we're going to be talking about freedom. I'm Pastor Fred, and we're not going to wait till Friday to talk about being independent, right? Being free of sin, free of that slavery and all that would oppress us. We're going to look at kind of one of the biggest passages or books in the Bible that talks about that, and that's Galatians. It's a letter that Paul wrote to a bunch of Christians. And in Galatians 5, chapter 1, he says this. He says, "For freedom, Christ has set us free. Stand firm, therefore, and don't submit again to a yoke of slavery." And so, again, in our world today, there's a lot of talk about freedom. There's a lot of talk about, oppression and who's oppressing who's trying to be a king and who's not trying to be a king. And we have a lot of finger pointing and name calling and all of that kind of stuff. And what happens is, and I think the devil loves this, by the way, because what we are not looking at and really completely ignoring is the truth about us. Because I'm pointing out the problems in everyone else, in the government or some other entity or institution, and not looking at me. And I got a problem. All of us do. Every human being does. It's called sin, and sin makes us a slave. It tries to call the shots. It desires to have its way. And without Jesus, we're stuck there. We've got these chains, and we're, and you've probably felt that, where you're like, man, I don't want to do these things that I'm doing. I don't want to look at these things that I'm looking at or say these things that I'm saying, have these kinds of reactions that I'm having. I want to live for Jesus. Or I just want to live a good life, and it's just not happening. And here's the issue. It's this slavery. Jesus came, as Paul says, to set us free. It was for freedom that he set us free. Not so that we would be stuck with a whole bunch of rules and a whole bunch of this and do that and don't do this and don't do that. Now, again, rules are important. There's still the 10 Commandments in the scriptures. There's still this call for us to live, but we do it for a different reason. And here's where the freedom is. See, because if I'm being a good guy and trying to help people in order to please God, because I feel like he's mad at me and I have to sort of buy him off or earn my way to him, that's not freedom. That's me working and expecting something in return, like a paycheck or a reward. But that's not how this works. It says, for freedom, he set us free. In other words, Jesus set us free. Let's get that straight. Let's get that straight today. And when I do get that straight, that he bled and died, that it was his cross, his empty tomb, that means that I am not only free, I'm forgiven, I've been set free, and I'm going to heaven, man. And it's awesome. And so these words of Paul is to stand firm. Don't move from that. Say, that's who you are. That's why you do anything good. That's why you would serve the people around you and do all those things. And when somebody tries to slap the chains on you again and say, hey, you need to do this or do that in order to be loved by God, you're like, well, I am already loved by God. Now, again, I could do some things that are unloving to him. I can be disobedient. I can do all those things. But again, those are forms of slavery that I'm going to say no to. Do you see how deep this freedom in Jesus goes? It applies to all things in all of our lives, not just our salvation, although that's the key to all of it. But it's every response, it's every minute, it's every choice. All of that, man, I'm going to choose freedom in him. I'm going to choose what he did, because that is the one thing, man, that's just never going to change in this world. So I want you to be praying about that today. Look at some of the things. What's trying to enslave you? How are you looking at rules and things like that in order to be saved, forgetting that you've already been saved? Let's take some deep, I want to say deep time today to think about that, pray about that, ask God to show you what that is, and to, again, remind you that you have been free in Jesus. So enjoy that freedom. Let's celebrate it all week long. We'll talk to you next time for another follow through. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button and share this with somebody, and we'll see you then.